Hi folks, a very warm welcome to you. It's a bit wet out there today, so despite my best efforts I did attempt to go outside. It is just too wet. So I've come in and I'm going to do, hopefully just for this week, the talk from inside, the Friday chat. Okay, now I think the red rubbish bags is still there on the wall. We saw that last week. It's always going to be there. Hope you've had a good week. With lots more videos to come on the channel. Thank you for subscribing if you haven't. No, thank you for subscribing if you have done so. That's it. If you haven't done so, please subscribe. Thank you very much, because that helps the channel grow. Yeah, so sorry about that. I did want to go out walking. Knowing my luck, as soon as I record this video, the rain has stopped to zero and the sun will come out. But it's a bit underwater out there. You need your snorkel or your goggles. There we go. So, just talking about the videos this week, I'll do a quick recap of them. ZX Spectrum, of course. There was Human Killing Machine. Now this game had really good graphics, really large sprites, fantastic backgrounds. I didn't know too much about it in the day, but it's an attempt of the designers to do Street Fighter or Street Fighter 2 style game. The gameplay I found was a little bit tricky. It suffers a bit, but it moves at a decent speed when you compare it to Final Fight on the 128K. This one is in top gear, while Final Fight was probably in low gears. They've done really well. You get to fight dogs and balls as well if you're good enough, but a very tricky game. We also looked at a Pac-Man clone. Now there's hundreds and hundreds of Pac-Man clones about the place, but it's always interesting to bump into a new one. Some do more than others to try and make themselves a little bit different, like Haunted Hedges. It went a bit 3D and you're controlling a man. That's on the Spectrum. Charlie 2600, they had Aliens, of course, where a man was going around the maze with a flamethrower gun. Now we had to look at Ghost's Revenge. It's okay as a Pac-Man clone. It doesn't try and distance itself too far away from the original. Pac-Man's quite big, so he does brush the sides, which makes me a little bit worried that if he ate too many proton pills, he'd end up dying. Now I'm just going to check the cameras on. I'm not home to Mr. Cock-Up. It is. I couldn't see the red light flashing. I didn't want to get 16 minutes, 17 minutes in and think, Nick, you haven't pressed the on button. Well done, Nick. Well done, me. I could edit that out, but I won't, because that's the sort of way we flow. Right. Okay. Yeah. On the Commodore Amiga, I love this game on the ZX Spectrum. It was Metro Cross. Now, when I played it on the ZX Spectrum, I always built up a bit of a story in my mind that this was a convict running across obstacle courses for his life, with people at home betting on the outcome. And it was quite a dark sort of game. Now, this Metro Cross, I think it's a late conversion from the Atari version, because it didn't come out on the Amiga back in the day, but it's just way too jolly. The colours are bright, the music is very jolly, and the whole story is sort of lost for me. So, it doesn't feel like a 16-bit game, it feels like an 8-bit and a half game. So although it was nice to see, it's not a game I'll be rushing back to at any point. On the Atari 2600, I'm a big fan of Ghostbusters, a film from 1984, was it, I think, or 1983? I think it might be 1984. This is the best version of Ghostbusters I've played. I played it a bit on the Spectrum and the Commodore 64, of course. This seems to hit the sweet spot. Music is playing all the way throughout. It's quite straightforward what you need to do. Lay down tracks. It's quite a basic game, but on the Atari 2600 it ticked a lot of boxes for me and a good retro buzz. Only other two games which I'll quickly come to. You might want to check them out. You might want to just cherry pick the ones that you like, or you might want to watch all of them. I certainly need the watch time, so thank you for people that do. There was a good homebrew on Wednesday, Project Revelation. If you're a fan of Thrust, it's an inertia game. You'd certainly like this one. It's green and black, so very sort of retro in style. Colours like in the Matrix, although I don't think Neo had a go at this. But basically you must land a rocket on a control pad and fight against the gravity and anything else, in particular the jagged rockwork, because these landing pads aren't always in the best position for a nice safe landing. So check out that. It was really good homebrew, 2021 that was. And this last game on the Commodore 64, it struggled quite a bit. It was James Bond 2 Robocod, a massive smash on the Commodore Amiga. Looked very blurry with the washed out Commodore 64 palette on this one, but even so I think they could have done a little bit better. Some of the gameplay was a bit lost. A brave attempt, but I don't think it really should be there. Yeah, the Great Giana Sisters on the Commodore 64 was quite good. This one lacking a little bit. So my favourite ones of all those, I'd have to say, was Ghostbusters on the Atari 2600 and Project Revelation on the ZX Spectrum. What was if you've seen all of them, what was your favourite of those ones, and which ones didn't you like? Yeah, you might have a different feeling about Metro Cross to me. I think late release in 2013. So there we go. There we go. There we go. So what's been happening this week? Well, I'll just quickly touch on. I put the videos up in good spirits, as you know. The ultimate aim is to ease stress, have a bit of fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously. I think most people appreciate, because I put it in the description every time, and I say it quite often in the videos also. It's not expert gameplay. It's about how the games you would have felt with it on the first or second go. Occasionally there might be bits I've missed in the sort of like gameplay that I comment on, but as I say, it's in that sort of like vein. First or second go, you might get it all, you might not get it all. Occasionally I get someone that doesn't quite get it. I get more surprised at someone that's been subscribed to the channel for a while that might call me a name or something like that, and I never understand that. Very strange. I might mention I'm going to dislike the video or something like that, or do a vowel threat about that, and then trolls will pile in. It's like kindling for trolls, and I get problems from elsewhere due to that comment that started it all off. Now I think it doesn't bother me too much, dislikes on the channel, because it's all interaction. YouTube recently have said they're experimenting of removing the dislike button. So that stops someone opening about 10 accounts and then thumbing down 10 times in a row. A lot of the time when that happens, of course, the YouTube algorithm will remove it anyway if that person has only just watched a very small fraction of it, and then a bot's come in to do the dislike. So I'm a bit in two minds where I want the dislike button to go or not. It would stop trolls to a degree, but it might mean they might get involved more in the comment section. So I don't know what you feel about that. I think you can still see it if you sign on with a PC, the dislikes. The stuff that I'm using, I can't see it on my pad and my iPads there. So there we go. But you know, it's a way to go in the future. I don't think thumbs down or any other network are they. You can't do it on Facebook or thumb down a comment on Twitter, because it too many arguments. I was always on the mind, if you didn't like a video, just move on. The one thing though that gives me a little bit concerned if you remove the dislikes button completely is you get quite a lot of videos that are clickbait, saying something they're not. When someone clicks on the video, that was their way of saying, look, this video shouldn't, you know, it's clickbait, and they can't do the thumbs down, but they'll have to do a comment now. But then even so, that's going to create more activity for that particular video. So I'm in two minds about it. And what would trolls do then? I don't really know. So that was just a quick thing. News-wise, sports-wise, there is a boxing match going on Sunday. It's quite curious what's going to go on this one. It's Logan Paul. You might be aware of him, of internet fame and quite often controversy. He's having a fight because he's been preparing for boxing against Floyd Mayweather. Yes, I did say that. Floyd Mayweather, former world champion. Floyd Mayweather has had 50 professional fights and won all of them. Logan Paul is, well, he's a lot younger than him now. Logan Paul is 26, Floyd Mayweather is 44. Logan Paul's had one fight in his career and lost it. And that fight wasn't to a professional boxer. It was more of a promotional thing to generate revenue and money. It was quite clever, against KSI, another a big YouTuber, and KSI won. Now that was back in 2019, I think. So Logan Paul might have done a lot more training since then and be a different fighter. But this looks a bit dangerous. In his defence, Logan Paul has got a superior height and a superior reach. But Floyd Mayweather, 50 fights of experience. I think this looks pretty dangerous. But if Logan Paul wins this fight, it'd be the biggest upset ever. Now, behind the scenes, I don't know how serious this fight is. Both people have been speaking it up, generating the money, and that's what it's all about at this point. They're probably going to make millions and pedillions in pay-per-view. So it just goes to show you, had the YouTube, and then I had the sporting events afterwards. Now, if I can think of something like that, I would do, but I'm not fighting Floyd Mayweather or Mike Tyson because I'll get killed. So what do you think of that a fight there. Maybe there's another YouTuber a bit bigger than me, who's done me some favours in the past, called Steve Benway. Check out his channel. Maybe I should arrange an online dominoes match, pay-per-view, £500 a time, and then we both become multi-millionaires that way. What do you think, Steve? No, it's not going to work, is it? Maybe we could do a tag team and fight Floyd Mayweather. You're in the ring first. So let me tell me what you think about this Mayweather Logan Paul fight on Sunday. If you're watching this after Sunday, you might already know the result. But what do you think is going to happen there? Is it going to be an absolute disaster, or is it all like a big fix, a big showcase just to generate money, and probably be a draw, and no one's going to get floored at all? Bit suspicious there. Always into my Formula 1, of course. Max Verstappen is now leading the championship. I thought Lewis Hamilton was gradually going to edge away with it, winning Verstappen second each time. But things changed from Monaco. Lewis Hamilton didn't qualify very well. It was always almost impossible to overtake at Monaco, and he ended up 7th. Now, that is very interesting, because it put Verstappen in the lead, of course. The next race on Sunday is at Azerbaijan in Baku. It's another street circuit. I've just seen the results of first practice. Verstappen is quickest again in the first practice, and the Ferraris are up there again. They seem to have gone a bit quicker. Now, whether they're just good at twisty circuits, I don't know. Sometimes you can't read 100% into it on practice, but the Ferraris were second and third fastest, and Mercedes were a little bit down again. Now, if Verstappen was to win this race, and say Hamilton comes 6th or 7th again, then he's going to have a little bit of a gap, and it'll be Hamilton chasing him in, because that Mercedes is going to get quicker as the things go on. So we could have a showcase finish there going on. What do you think about that? Is it going to be a good race, or do you think it's a bit boring? And Monaco race was extremely boring from what I saw. Other races have been exciting, but if you haven't got overtaking, that's pointless. There was call for maybe should the Monaco be scrubbed off the calendar, and I think it's a bit of a shame because it's quite historic. The Formula E cars, which were a lot smaller, had good racing there and good overtaking, but they're pretty much designed for street racing in mind. Formula 1 cars are too big. Let's make the Formula 1 cars a lot smaller, so there's more room either side for these daring overtakes. That's the only way they're going to do it. There was talk of extending one of the straights, but then of course you've got DRS into a curving tunnel, which isn't really that safe. Imagine the amount of accidents at the end of there under braking. So yeah, that is Azerbaijan this weekend. I think Max Verstappen is probably going to win. Oh, and we might have a Ferrari. Now, if Ferrari suddenly become dominant, then the championship becomes a bit open again, because it's a long, long season. One of them, either Carlos Sainz or Leclerc, would be brought into play. Now, my fingers are crossed are still for McLaren. They are my team. Lando Norris is currently third in the championship, ahead of Valtteri Bottas in a quicker Mercedes. Ricciardo, in his first season McLaren, is a little bit under the weather for some reason. He doesn't seem quite as quick. I'm just hoping that McLaren can go a bit quicker and start challenging for the races, a bit like Ferrari seem to be going in that direction. So yes, thank you for supporting the channel. A big thank you to all the members, which I'll give a shout out in a minute. If you're on the second tier and above, although I do appreciate all the help from all tiers, because that pulls together and helps me a great deal. But if you're on the second tier and above, I can give you a shout out for whatever you're doing. So big thank you there. So yeah, so just in summary then, what I said, let me know what you think about the Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul fight. And also, if you're into your Formula 1, what do you think is going to happen in the championship? Is Verstappen going to go a bit further ahead, like I think, or is Mercedes going to turn it around in the final practice and qualifying? And will it be business as usual? Okay, so yeah, big thanks to the members this time. I will call out your name. If you don't want me to call out your name, if you want to be anonymous, just maybe contact me in the members section on YouTube, or send me a direct message on Twitter, Jenkin7Nick. If your username on YouTube is different to your Twitter name, then let me know as well, so I can marry the two together. Thank you. So, big thank you this time to, there's a new chap here, probably if I pronounced this wrong, Sony 1255. Thank you very much. Welcome on board. Hope you are enjoying the channel and the memberships bit. Huge thanks as well to Al Fairweather. Thank you. It's your first time as well. You just missed the shout out on the last video. So huge thanks, Alf, for that. Have a great weekend, sir. We've got Una Bjornsson. Thank you. Jason Smith. Grey Hulk 2, thank you. Now I did shout this out last week. I didn't know if you wanted me to shout it out again, Grey Hulk 2, but I will do. You've got a friend who's made a game, a great game called Journey Home. If you want to check that out, folks, then go to limbojimbo84.itch.io. That's limbojimbo84.itch.io/journey-home. Journey Home. It's a point and click game, which I still haven't downloaded, which I think I want to. It's problem solving, and you've got to find your way along a path. Really immersive, great sound on the thing. I would recommend that. So yep, so that's Grey Hulk 2's friend Jim, Limbo Jimbo 84. Journey Home is the game. You must journey home. So huge thanks as well to Stu Who, Nikki S. Thank you, Nikki. Claire Johnson, What Ho Snorkers, and what a good chap he is. Thank you, What Ho. John Roby. Jeffrey Searby, Steve Norman, good stuff. Steve Norman, you might have checked it out before from if you watch other ones like this, but if you haven't, I recommend it. Steve does a rather splendid blog called retroarcadia.blog. Looks at a different game, or at least one different game each week. This time he's looked at one of my favourite ones, the Trapdoor on the ZX Spectrum, and he's looked at a few games from 1984 as well, and what was going on there. Trapdoor, rather large sprites based on the kids' TV show. Games made by Don Priestley, who did other large sprite games like Popeye and a few others that temporarily I can't remember out of my brain. But yeah, a splendid blog by Steve. He says his thoughts on the game and that sort of era in general, so do check that one out. retroarcadia.blog. Another good one from Steve, and I'm sure he'll keep pumping them out, so have a look at that for a bit of retro goodness. Thank you very much also to Lemmy Barnett. Steve Q, thank you for your help, Steve. Always really appreciated. Thank you, sir. Phil Hill, Rossi Bossy. Now hopefully that's a name you recognise, because we're giving it a shout every week. Still working on Super 3D Pixel Grand Prix. That's gradually coming to fruition when I do some of the sounds on that, or some of the speech there. A bit of movement this time for you. Very soon, it might already be out at the time of recording, or it might be a few days away. He's working on the alpha demo teaser, so the final build of that. So I think, I'm not sure how widespread that's going to be, but people can test the game before its full release. I think it's a chase view arcade style Formula 1 game. It's getting better and better with every change that Rossi does. Really detailed scenery, moves really fast, and yeah, I would recommend tracking that. Have a look at Rossi's site as well, which I put up above me probably. He's got other games there, a bit more basic than Super 3D Pixel Grand Prix. If you want to see some of his other work, which includes Re-Enduro and Nifty Lifty 2. So it's a stunning game. Hang on to your haircuts, it's going to be good. Okay. Thank you as well. Well done, Rossi. Thank you as well to Chono Baggy and Jason Holmes, Andrew Gibson, thank you. Thank you guys, thank you everyone on that tier, and massive thanks to people gone above and beyond there on the upper tier. The 6 of you, if we ever get to 10, that'll be something sensational. But thank you, you're trailblazers, so thank you very much to Colin Hode, top man, Martin Rymel, top man, Richard Mitten, top man, and I'm not talking about the shop that went bust, you know. Yeah, you're all good people, everyone's good people, but you're particularly good people. Big thank you to Tom, Graham Vebke, my friend in Australia. I've lost where I am now. I mentioned Richard Mitten, did I? If I've forgotten, Richard Mitten, top man. Everyone's a top man. Not the clothes shop, or Dorothy Perkins. Thank you, and also as well, thank you to Jules M, who does a lot of the. It's not compulsory by any means, Jules, but he does a lot of the vid caps on the stream, which happened on Tuesdays. You might have seen those on Twitter. I tend to retweet them. Jules also has a rather cool site called myoldtoybox.weebly.com. That's myoldtoybox.weebly.com, and I'm just going on to my iPad here because there's a few things I can say about that site. So once you typed in that site, you can do /board games or click on the board games link. I think that's the most recent thing that's been updated. And Jules said here, I'm reading this directly from a message on Twitter. This week she's looking at the Mastermind code breaking game with all the coloured pegs. I sort of like vaguely remember that. It seems rather cool. A game called Nine Men's Morris. Board game played since Roman times. So that's interesting. That's super retro. I've never done anything as retro as back as Roman times. That might be worth a look, folks. And Stay Alive, the trapdoor game, played with marbles. I love marbles and sliding trapdoors. Well, that's three super duper positive things, isn't it? Really, Mastermind code breaking game, Nine Men's Morris, since Roman times that one, and Stay Alive, the trapdoor game, played with marbles. And I do love marbles. Hooray for marbles! Hooray for marbles! So yeah, thank you everyone for supporting the channel, whether it be as a member or simply subscribing and watching the videos, because that does rack up the watch time, which YouTube uses one of their variables. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. Sorry I wasn't out again, but as I said before, it's very, very wet indeed. There will be a couple of ZX Spectrum videos on the channel on Saturday. Members who know what they are already, and there will be a couple of videos on Sunday as well as the members vid, which everyone as a member has got access to that. So thank you very much once again. I love speaking to you. I said it before last week. I want to try and find a time to do a live. It'd be a tricky with whoever drops in, but I want to do a live Q&A at some point if we get the time. So it's all about stress busting. Take care of yourself. I don't know where you are in life, if you're having a particular stressful time at the moment, or whether you're having a bit of a level of peace. I will try and ease that stress with the stuff that I do. We all work together. We all come together as a community. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful weekend. And until next time, take great care of yourself and are very fond. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, E.
And Jenkin.